Hello, Alex. It is great to see you again for part two. I think last one was over 5 months ago, so it's been quite a while. At the time, you said the freelancing campus had helped you make 500,000 within 1 year for your 3D animation studio. Is that correct?
Yeah, hey, it's been quite a few months indeed, and a lot have changed, absolutely.
Right.
And yeah, the freelancing campus has indeed helped me make quite a good amount, quite a good
Okay.
amount.
So that was back then. Now we have a whole
Yes.
5 months of progress to report on. So how has everything scaled for you since in that time?
Well, it has gone really good. It has gone really good. It has gone a little bit better than anticipated. And actually, right after this meeting, I'm heading in another meeting, and we're potentially getting just a single gig, a 500K gig, just one gig.
Damn.
So that's going to be super exciting. It's going to keep us settled for the next year.
Perfect. So yeah, can't really complain when you say, it went better than expected. You love to hear that. Okay, what were you projecting? And yeah, how comes it was better? What happened?
So in the community that I'm in, it's in a little bit of a recession right now. So people aren't spending that much money. So the speed is slower than it was last year when the community was at its peak, but it's still going upwards. So thankfully, we're one of the few studios that, we continue to innovate, quality, 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 always push for better quality, better and better. So it hasn't really hit us that hard.
Mhm.
I was expecting us to end at 500K for this year, and it looks like we're aiming for 600 now. But now, if this gig comes in, then we're just like, we're over a mill now.
Mhm.
And it seems like it will. Seems like it will.
Awesome. Okay. As you're saying, it's a bit of a stagnant time in the industry. I've seen some news about organizations just dropping off from esports, from the tier one teams, like certain ones getting, I don't know if it's from the game organizers perspective, not perspective is the wrong word. Let's say, example, League of Legends. I heard
Yes.
they're dropping a load of teams. Is that because of the orgs not making money or because of rules that the actual game creators implemented?
It is just, as you said, not making money.
Uh,
Players' salaries are very high, and it worked well in the last 5 years when investors had a bunch of money. But truth be told, there isn't, other than the top teams, there isn't that much money to be made. And if, like the players, they're focused on winning tournaments rather than becoming content creators, then it limits their profitability.
mhm.
So that's where it's hurt them a bit. I just recently had a motion designer working at G2
Mhm.
who then went to another team that then got closed. Now G2 doesn't want him back, so he got in touch with me. He's like, "Hey, do you know anything? Can you help me out?" I'm like, "Sorry."
Mhm.
And sadly, I don't, because we kind of left that department now because, as we mentioned, lack of
Mhm.
funding.
And how has everything been scaling for you in terms of new department or new field, if that's the right way
Well,
to put it?
we don't have that much like personal fame. We're kind of like piggybacking on other studios because they're a lot more in the spotlight, and we're mostly assisting them on their projects. So we're taking over the harder projects and the difficult parts of the project. So we're kind of doing that. And then we kind of let them have a little bit of the spotlight. We take a little bit ourselves. And we're kind of just chilling in the back seat right now.
Mhm.
And it's working well. It's working well. So I can't really complain. Well, we're okay.
Interesting. When you say piggybacking, those those that you're piggybacking off of, they take on the client, then maybe you're saying the workload is either too much or they don't have the exact expertise needed, so then they outsource to you. Is that how it works?
Yes, correct. Now,
For
we have had a couple of times it happen where obviously we respect that it's their client, so we don't try to steal it. But we have had two cases now where the client ended up realizing it was our work and then skipped them,
yep,
which
skip
is
in the
kind of like,
middleman, yeah.
yeah, it's kind of like, I don't want to step on their toes because
Mhm.
it's their client. But at the same time, if we're doing the heavy workload, then perhaps we should have the client.
Interesting.
But I try not to force it. I try to, if it happens, it happens.
Of
But
course.
in the end, it's their client. I try to respect them.
Of course, as it is right to do so. Okay. And how's everything been going in the new field that you transitioned to? So you're saying you're no longer in esports, right?
Yeah, I'm no longer specifically for the esports. I'm much more for the games that do esports. So it's more League of Legends. It's more directly with Counter-Strike and the organizers and the games themselves.
And what kind of
Before
work
I used
do
to
they
be
ask
with
you
the
to do?
teams. Basically create trailers for the events they have. And now we're slowly also transitioning to commercial work. So we have a couple of clients where we're doing commercial work specifically for branding, that is clothes, watches, glasses. And yeah, it's much more profitable in the commercial area, I ain't gonna lie.
Right. Are you using any additional lessons from the real world to assist you in it?
So things have actually changed a lot since the real world because I'm actually no longer in it anymore. So since the since our interview and a few months afterwards, things went really heavy, and then I got Dylan's blessing to take and focus on that. I was like, I'm not so much able to. Things are super heavy. I would love to focus on this, and I got his permission, got his blessing. He was like, no problem, go do it. Eventually, what was Dylan's right hand man? His name skipped my head for a moment. Let me see. I'm gonna find him.
Okay.
Colston.
Okay.
So Colston then later came and said, "Hey, if you're gonna focus on and be away, then perhaps it's better that you're not captain." And of course, I understood him completely. And so it came to be that, I left on good terms. So there was nothing wrong. Colston said, "Whenever you're in Dubai, come by. We'll see each other," and that's really cool. Dylan said the same. But yeah, after that, it's mostly been I'm a little bit on my own. I just bought a bunch of new books,
Yeah.
all meant for
See,
continue to learn.
the art of not giving a fuck, was that the one that's on the
Oh
top?
yes. So there's the art of not giving a damn,
That was it.
atomic habits,
Yep.
48 laws of power, uh, a bunch of like the more famous books.
Cool. Okay.
So even though I'm not in the real world, I still believe that you should always strive to learn more. There's nothing wrong with more knowledge. I'm still young. There's still a lot of things I don't know, and yeah, I'm
Would you
trying
say
to.
you pretty much learned everything from that there is to learn from the freelancing campus at that point? So that's why you haven't returned?
It's of course a difficult question. You don't know what you don't know. I'm 100% certain there are things I could have learned more, but at the same time, the freelancing campus, they can't just give one-on-one mentorship to absolutely everyone. There are just too many people, and it will also be unfair if some people got it, others don't. People will kind of like be like, "Oh, unfair." So, since there is like a group learning program, I do understand that eventually you will reach a limit where you need more specialized help. Like you kind of know the general knowledge of business and making money. And in my field, because it was such a specific niche, and freelancing campus didn't specifically have, animation, 3D. They had editing, but once again, that was more like a general knowledge, or at least for me, who's very specialized in it. So I felt like I was hitting like a ceiling limit that,
Yeah, fair enough.
it's
Again, you are scaling to at this point a fairly considerable amount. So
yeah, it's not really pocket change anymore. But I see there's nothing wrong with that either. If I feel like, okay, perhaps I need to look somewhere else for this very niche knowledge, then that's okay too.
do you use any AI in the trailers you make?
So not specifically. Well, actually, we have actually in our project, we use AI to more like generate ideas. because it can generate ideas at extreme rates. But because there's all the copyright issues, because obviously they're trained on stolen work, we have to be very careful. So we try not to use anything directly, but we use it to generate ideas, inspiration, that we do.
Okay. Because I've seen some very cool videos now getting implemented where they use AI in I'm not sure if augmenting is the right word, but adding on to special effects to a video. Let's say you have me like this, and then you can turn me into a robot to emphasize like a certain thing I'm saying, or give a different background. There's interesting ways now to use AI again to just increase engagement of a video. Have you considered implementing that, or is it just not relevant?
I have seen a lot of cool ways to use AI. I think they're especially cool in the audio department. Especially text to speech is moving at an incredible rate. Now voice text to speech sounds really natural. Other more video based, I still think apologies. I still think AI is not fully there, or at least not to how, maybe because we're so used to the high quality video, we feel like AI isn't able to keep up. But there are certain areas of AI that we do use in the videos. Let's say that there's a wall of paintings in the back here, right? Out of focus. There's no way you ever see it. We tell the AI, generate random newspaper articles. Like there's nothing in there, you can't read it. But it looks like newspapers, and we just put it in the corner. Generate a bunch of book covers. No, it's out of focus. There's no way you can ever see one. But your mind fills in the blanks. So in those areas, yeah, we've used it, but not for any hero item in frame.
Okay, fair enough. It's something I'm actually going through currently, going back into the lessons through. Were you still in the real world when the content creation campus came out? Content creation and AI?
Yes.
Okay. So yeah, I'm going through that. I want to learn all the AI aspects that there are. Because as I said, I actually know someone who's charging $300 per video with them implementing AI into it and making it look super smooth. So I'm wondering if that's the next step in how videos are going to evolve. I'll send you an example after, just to show. Okay, but no, unless you have more to say, we can move on to a different topic.
Yeah, I do think so. But there also there was this Marvel movie, Invasion or something along those lines, where the entire premise of the movie was robots, I think it was. Moment. Robots trying to act like humans. And then they had the intro cinematic be made using AI because the director felt it fit the whole premise of it. But then the huge backlash from the community came. Everyone thought it was wrong. And due to the negative feedback from the community, we have tried to just stay away for now.
Oh,
until the public accepts it a bit more. We're trying to be very careful with it.
Ah, I see now. So it's a different kind of, for you, it's a different because it's not an individual making it, but you're actually doing it for corporation. So public perception matters. Okay,
Yeah.
understood now. All right. Okay, how different is your average day? How has it changed in those 5 months? Any differences?
It's I have a lot less time. I've noticed.
Yeah.
I do still enjoy video games, and I enjoy single player video games that take 20 hours, but sadly I don't have much time for those anymore as I wish I did. There's a lot more meetings now, and I wouldn't say there's necessarily more work, but it's more like less work that is a lot more difficult.
Interesting.
There's also a much more focus on presentation, how I present myself. We've changed the website now to look more high end. There we have also certain rules on how to treat each other, how to behave publicly. There's also now a little bit weight on shoulder that we're representing a larger animation studio, so it's very important how we present. I feel like a politician sometimes. That it's all about talking, presentation.
Right.
I do, part of me do miss the old days because I feel like the studio it's slowly going corporate, which sometimes you have to do if you want to earn a lot of money. Which, of course, I'm interested in that. But me and my partner, we were talking that, all right, let's just enjoy this moment. We have maybe like half a year left where it's still, in the garage, making something, having fun, talking shit. Before now, okay, now there's a lot more people. It's more diverse. We have to be more careful. And it going corporate.
But it was interesting what happened with Carlos a while ago. I don't know if we had called already. Maybe we would have had called already back with what happened with Carlos. Since you mentioned G2, that yeah, it was fully corporate. So him doing something outside of work, still related to his reputation in work, and then he had to step down as CEO of G2.
Yeah, that was crazy. That was crazy. I don't think that's fair. I don't think so. But at the same time, let me
It's
see.
an industry where public perception matters a lot.
Yeah, looking back at it, it seems like Carlos, he was in a position where he could take that hit and be okay. Because seeing his social media, he seems just fine. But if you're not in such a position, depending on what you value the most, it might be better to just stay in the shadows a little bit and keep doing what you're doing.
Right.
Because I'm also in a position I can't just say absolutely anything I want in the studio. Me and my partner, we have dark humor that both of us we will get hanged if we said it publicly.
Yeah.
But we keep things to ourselves. We keep it secret, and of course, in public, we try to just adapt, be nice, don't step on anyone's toes, and we do our own thing.
All right. I don't know, and I can't say that that's how it should be because I'm not in your position, but that sounds about right. Yeah, with the
Of
current
course,
circumstances, at least that's the best you can do.
yeah, I wish that we could just be as open as we wanted to. We had an incident just recently where our front door actually got broken into. So we had well, the thing that annoys me the most, they didn't even steal anything. They just broke their front glass door. I think the glass shattering and the alarm scared them away. And me and my partner, we were talking about, okay, who could it potentially be? We don't know. They didn't leave any, like, no trails or nothing, broken glass, and done. We in the past we've invited people to come check out the studio because a lot of kids, especially the younger generation, they love seeing all of this. They're like, oh wow, do you guys do this? That's so cool. They see all the computer, the tech, the video games, and they think it's super dope. But now me and my partner are like, we can't do that anymore.
Yep.
All of a sudden the wrong person is gonna come in and they're gonna plan to steal stuff.
Yep.
So there's even things like that. You may call it judging a book by its cover, but if they're gonna act like that and steal, then we're just gonna have to do that. We're just forced to judge people up front. So now we just keep the doors closed. We don't invite anyone in anymore.
Yeah. So yeah, it seems company again is evolving more corporate now. Before it was, as you were saying, felt like you two in a basement and then
Yeah.
joking around, inviting people in, showing them around. But now, yeah, you need to actually start treating it like a corporate company. And speaking of which, how has everything been with employees? Has that been scaling?
Yes, so we have two new people. There's an Italian guy, super talented. He's really, really good. He's coming here in November, all the way from Italy. And then we have an intern who wants to join in. We're thinking, oh, yeah, this could be cool. The skill level is nowhere near where we want it to be. But even though we're like, okay, well, it can be still cool. It's still fun having more people around. There's more life here. It's also good for profiling if this intern then shares how it is to their own classmates, their friends. Because this intern also is in the gaming community and interested in that. So it's cool to just get some fame around in
Yeah.
the local area here.
Okay, fair. Interesting. And since everything is playing out as it is, where do you see your future? I think last time I asked in 6 months, but now I'd like to know in short term, medium term, and long term.
So short term, I would like to get because currently we're releasing a car, releasing the studio. So in the short term, I'm thinking just get all of those bought out. So there's no more. I don't owe anyone any money anymore. So all of those bought out. Hiring more people. I think we're gonna get in the next 6 months. We're gonna get at least one more person in. We have a. I'm going on a meeting on Friday already. There's a investor who wants to buy 25% of the company, but I'm not sure we're. It's more like we don't need the money right now. We're doing good, and this investor does not have any connections in the industry, so they don't have the connections that we, or they couldn't bring us any extra projects. And then I don't plan to cash out either, so it just doesn't feel right for an investor at the moment.
Yep.
Medium term, of course, the Lambo. Once again, I love cars. I'm a big fan of cars. So that is treat myself, pat on the back. And then the long term would be I step down a little bit more because right now I'm very much hands on. It's eating up a lot of my time. I do a lot of the 3D myself, but I do think eventually it'll come a time where I'll step down. I'll be more like the overseer, planning and making sure that we're going in the right direction. And how we get there and the processes, I'll let other people control, but I would just want to make sure we're heading the right way and we're standing for the right thing.
The captain of the ship steering it.
Yeah. And then it will be. I do think eventually Fitrak will turn so corporate that I don't know how much I'm needed there anymore. So I'm thinking, you know what? Maybe it would be fun to just do it all over again. But now you have a lot more funding, a lot more budget, so you can get up to speed much quicker. But go back into the garage, find a couple of talented people. Guys, we're going on an adventure. Let's do it.
Yep. So reflecting on it, you're saying that's one of the best times you've had back at the beginning and
Yeah, at the very start where there was so much, there was an insane amount of energy, passion, just love for what you're doing. And I'm not saying I don't have passion, energy, love for what I'm doing, but back then I would love to just take cheap projects because I would be part of something. I would like, yes, I'm getting to meet these people. I'm getting connection with these, even though I'm doing it a lot cheaper. Now I can't do that anymore. Now, even though the name might be bigger, like bigger clients, bigger names, if the pay isn't good, I'm like, not so interested anymore. So that is certainly something that was a lot of fun. And then it was also the seeing you progress. Like, oh, look at those neighbors, we're getting better than them. Oh, those across the street, we're getting better than them. In the early stages, it was a lot like that. And of course, then it was the whole. Now, when I'm getting older, of course, soon when I'm thinking in my 30s, that's when I'll start a family. I'm not going to be able to just be gone for weeks at a time in a garage all day, all night. So yeah, I'm gonna miss those times where there was no one to hold me back.
Yeah.
No one told me anything. We did exactly what we wanted to do. Yeah, a lot of fun, a lot of fun.
So maybe one more round of starting all again and then commit to family is what you're saying.
Yeah, most likely. I do think I'll be here for another at least 5 years. I think so. And then it might be time to chill down a little bit. I'll never be fully gone. I do think I'm the kind of person I will always be working. I see that as very enjoyable. It like fulfills me doing these projects. Like it's kind of strange. Like it makes me feel alive working on something, seeing it come to life, and seeing other people enjoy it. Everyone's like, "Yeah, this is cool. This is cool. This is great," and that's it.
Interesting. And then family, I guess, yeah, we won't go on to family since it's still a while away. So maybe in future follow-ups, we can discuss that as well. But it's great to hear how everything has progressed. How's your, any difference in lifestyle, or is it just literally more work, so you don't get to do much outside of it?
I'll stay with more work. I do have more cash at hand, so it has been a little bit more fancier clothes. I've gone to a little bit more fancier places. I live better than I did before in terms of quality of life. I have a lot less worries. I don't really worry about bills. If the here everyone is talking about the prices of electricity when the heating goes up. I don't see a difference. To me, it doesn't really make that much difference. So those kind of I've noticed that there's a lot less worry in my head. Of course, the projects are super stressful. There's a lot of pressure. If you fail, the repercussions are, especially reputation damage. That's going to be the biggest one. It's going to be huge. So other people might see like, oh, that kind of pressure, I wouldn't be able to handle that. But on the other hand, I don't worry about things that regular day-to-day people worry about, like rent, car payments, food. What if rent goes up? What if taxes rise by 1 or 2%? What if mortgages rise? No, I don't worry about those kinds of things. I go to bed whenever I want to. I wake up whenever I want to. Some people would say, "Oh, you wake up so late. You're lazy." Ah, true, maybe. But then again, I also go to bed super late. I go like 2, 3 a.m. at bed.
That's considered super late. I see.
Here it is considered super late. If you're not at bed by 11 here, then you're considered workaholic.
Damn. Here, only nightlife in Spain starts at like 1 a.m. Clubs only start opening at 1 a.m.
Yeah, here they open at 9, like 9 p.m.
No, that's tragic. Okay, fair.
Other than that, it hasn't changed too much. Of course, I grew up poor, not necessarily like dirt poor. Like I was still, my family was still managing, but I was like lower middle class, you can say. So I'm not gonna try to make some dramatic story that I came up from under the grave. No, I was doing it. I was fine. I was fine.
But still done
But
very
still,
well for
that
yourself, building a company like that, like you have.
thank you, thank you. Of course, uh, still gonna give credit to myself as well. I'm not gonna say that I was gifted this. No, it was my own work, but I wasn't dirt poor either. I did have a couple of lucky things happen in life that especially helped me a lot here. But then again, that's kind of like you play with the cards you're dealt. Some people have it easier, some people have it harder.
Cool.
But that part of me, growing up a little bit poorer than most in Norway at the time, I still do enjoy just me and my partner. One day we're both, we have good money, and then we just saw, hey, do you want to go into this like kiosk and just buy a chicken leg? And there we were sitting like two bums on a bench outside in a corner, just eating like chicken legs. We were like, oh, this is the best. We could have gone to like a nice restaurant, nothing, but no, we were just enjoying buying a super cheap chicken leg and just eating it out there. So those kinds of lives, not lives, but things in life, we still appreciate.
Moments. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is, again, fair. And in a way, that's what the benefits of coming from a less beneficial background and then making it is just nicer because you can remember those moments.
Yeah,
Whereas-
like you appreciate things in life a lot more, I feel like.
Yeah. Cool. So it was a great catching up, Alex. I mean, that's pretty much most of my questions then. Great to see how you're doing. And it was interesting that, as you said, you've left the real world now. But it's good to hear that at least during the last interview, it helped you scale the business. And it's completely normal to move on from it since it is a more beginner, intermediate level. And then as you get more and more advanced, then yeah, you outgrow it. So completely fair. But for people who are considering joining the real world, but maybe they think it could be a scam for the $50, what advice would you have to them?
Well, just like last time, I will repeat that I have been through the freelancing campus. That's where I joined. And starting out as a freelancer myself, all of the things they teach there, it is true. That is the path you have to take. I remember there was this PDF of like, I think 12 to 14 the check marks or things to make sure of. And it was kind of going through the life as a freelancer. And yeah, all of that, I was like, oh yeah, I remember this happened in my life as I was going through it, right? And then I saw those like 3, 4 last steps. I'm like, okay, I have to work on these ones next. So no, absolutely not. It's not a scam. It fully works. You will also see there. I'm gonna give some credit to myself again. There are some lessons in the captain's channel. If you go to the agency lessons, I have some gold mine lessons for you guys there. If you join in, I have some. I ain't gonna lie. Now I'm gonna fight a little bit with the other captains, but I genuinely think my lessons were the best.
Fair enough.
So there's some good bits in there that you guys can learn if you join in.
All right. So, yeah, we'll see. Maybe in another 6 months, we do another follow up. By then, you're multi-millionaire. You'll be calling from your yacht. Yo, hello, Rock. Yeah, I'm chilling. Life's all right. We'll see.
Just managing by, just
Yeah,
living above the water,
yeah.
just floating.
Cool. So, yeah, it was great to talk to you again. And I look forward to potentially again another follow up in future. And I wish you all the best.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And then good luck to everyone else.